and see you at the webinar. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I would like to welcome you to this wonderful webinar this day, wherever you're watching us from. It's a nice time to be together. It's a Christmas season, and today we'll be having a nice time together, learning how to build, generate, and automate students' results with ease. This is practically going to be an interesting time, and we'll be very practical with it. And I'll be glad if you can stay put till the end because we have so many freebies, so many goodies to share with every one of us as regards this topic. Thank you for being with us. Like I said, our topic is build, generate, and automate students' results with ease. It's a known fact that grading student results is one of the core functions of teachers, and it's a part of the teaching process that must be taken care of with utmost care, such that children are graded proportionally to their performance in school. And research has shown us that errors occur at the time of computation of results on the part of the teachers because teachers are engaged with so many things, so many tasks, and they still have to compete with this and come out with something worthwhile for the parents of the children in their care. And that's why the process to automate this grading is key. And that's where we are here to make it seamless for you, cost-free, and highly effective. So the grading process. Measuring student cognitive, affective, and psychomotor performance is key to the success of any educational institution. Most teachers find these tasks rigorous and time-consuming because it can be, and also in a bid to add this up to their core teaching duties, they often make errors in the computation or in the analysis of the results. However, as educators, this shouldn't be so. That's why in this 21st century, computation and analysis of student performance should transcend to electronic, where there will be no need for teacher manual computation of results. Computer does the work for you. In this webinar, our objective will be to design a grading template that will make this work, this grading process seamless. Also, we will automate the process so that it can generate instant report sheets. Just by imputing the student scores, we can immediately print report sheets for each of the pupils in our care. And this is what one of our expectations. Also, we will edit the template we'll be working with such that it suits our school style. And lastly, we will take advantage of our main grading application so that you can have some freebies for being part of this webinar. But before we go ahead, I want to enjoin everyone to download this template we'll be working with so that you can have a feeling on how to work with this template when you get yours. I'm going to leave a minute or two for everyone to download that. The It's scrolling on your screen where you can get this downloaded so that you have this template we'll be working with so you can edit it to suit your brand and your school preferences. So I want to leave a minute for everyone to do that. Please download it. I'm going to share it on the group again, on the comments box again, so we can all have it downloaded. All right, while we are doing that, feel free to use the comment box, ask your questions, input your comments, and we will be glad to do justice to that. And if you have your template downloaded, just put on the chat room, yes, I have mine downloaded. Yes, I have mine downloaded, so that we can move on from there. Okay, once again, we will be designing a template and we'll be working with this template you are downloading. We'll automate the process. We will edit to suit our school style, and we'll give you an advantage to take some of our applications for free if you stay to the end of this webinar. All right. I am Benga Uyebajo. I'll be your facilitator for today. I'm an educator, a tech expert, and a data analyst. Uh, I'm a convener of Math Made Easy and Excel with Excel. These are online training programs that helps people learn how to teach math well and work with Microsoft Excel to do awesome things with data analysis. I have my first degree in mathematics education and my second degree in statistics and data analysis. I'm an experienced educator with almost 2 decades working with both private and public sector. I've guided so many corporations to take some profitable decisions that are grounded with data, and I've tutored millions of people across the world on how to use Microsoft Excel and other data analysis tools to automate their process. As an academic, I've helped so many institutions train and coach their teachers, especially in integrating IT into the teaching and learning space. And today, I'll be doing something related to that, and together we'll have a nice time together. Oh, good job, Faith. Faith has downloaded the template, and I want every one of us to do the same as we move ahead with this training. All right. Why automate your grading process? One, it takes off the pressure of teachers so that they can concentrate on teaching the students rather than finding time to always calculate, find the average, the minimum mark, the standard deviation, the percentile, and everything, even the grading, instead of investing time on that. It is good to invest time on teaching the children and let the process of computing their results be automated. Secondly, it eliminates error of computation. So you are clear that you are working with an error-free process such that after computing the results, you don't begin to find errors in the student's results. So that's one of the reasons why we need to automate this process. And also, you get your result ready immediately. You input student scores and you can send it instantly to the parents. I think this and more are the reason why we need to automate our grading process. Like we have it here, some schools have invested heavily in big apps that are automating this process for them. There's a million and one school management applications across the world. Some of them are heavily costly, and some that are not too costly are still not error free. So you don't have to stress yourself. Microsoft Excel can help. Microsoft Excel is a wonderful application that can streamline this process and make it seamless, error free, and automate your results in a flash. So, what we'll be investing on today is how this Microsoft Excel application can help us do this process without any iota of doubt in our minds. So, if you have your app downloaded, and if you have not, let's dive in straight into the application we are working with today, and we will see how it runs, how to use it, how to edit it to suit your brand. Okay, right now, this is the grading template we will be working with. If you have downloaded yours, you will have seen this interface. This is like the front page of the application in which we have done 95% of the work for you. We just walk through this and you see how we came up with this and how you can edit and use to suit your needs. Like I said, this is the front page. And like we have here, this is the grading template for all. This is a sample of the template we are using for this webinar. And everyone is invited to download and edit to suit their brand. But note that this is not our main simple school grading and results application. We also have a results application that hundreds of schools are enjoying, which streamline the process and makes it easy to use. At the end of this webinar, we're going to share that with you and we'll give you for almost free for being a part of this webinar. All right, this is just the front page. It has three tabs: the home tab, the database tab, and the gradebook tab. We're already in the home tab. Let's go to the database tab. This database tab is where you impute the students' data. Like we have here names, admission, class, club, gender, date of birth, house, height, weight, email, and picture. Please note that it can be any um, variable that you are tracking in your school. So you can always change this to something else. You can always change the club to whatever you want to appraise the children for. And note that all these details will come up on the results page for each child. Okay, so what have we done here? We have this column for names. If you get your application, all you just need to do is delete the names here and just type in the names of the pupils or students you want to work with. For example, I'm going to type Samuel here, Samuel John. Immediately I type Samuel John and I click enter, you can see 5 comes up here automatically. And you can impute all other columns as we go. Let's say the admission number is A111 or whatever it is. Let's say it's class 5 and the club is debating club. Samuel is a male, of course. And put in the date of birth and every other variables you are tracking. Or this column here should be specifically left and dedicated for emails in case you want to send an email. And this place too should be for picture. So what we do is click in the cell, go to your insert tab. Because of the Excel version I'm using, my picture is under illustration. And on your device, you pick a picture of that child. Let's say this is the picture, click and click insert. It brings up the picture, and all you need to do is reduce it to fit into the cell. To fit into the cell. And that's all for Samuel John. And on this part is your school grading scale. As a sample, I've imputed a grading scale. If you can see, there is upper limit and lower limit sharing the same grading scale here. So from 0 to 49 is E, from 50 to 59 is D, 60 to 69 is C. So whatever your preference is, you can always edit it here. But remember, you do it from the lowest to the highest. And on this part is the subject you are considering for your class. And that's all about the database tab. Now let's go to the gradebook tab. This is where the magic happens. You can see I have the admission number of the pupils automatically populated here, and their names show up here immediately. You can see Samuel John, the one I added just now, coming up here. How did we achieve that? If I click into that cell, you can see in my formula bar up here, I have a formula that is making this work for me. Let me quickly explain this. Equal to, for every formula in Excel, you start with an equal to, and with an if statement. In short, if statement is one of the most and widely used function in Excel. So if database C8, now this database refers to this tab, and C8 refers to, let me show my headings. Okay, C8. This is column C and row 8. And the intersection of these two is this. So I have conditioned it that if this cell is empty, equals empty. So to do that, you just put 2 quotation marks without anything in between. So you are telling Excel that if that cell is empty, comma, put empty. If it is empty, leave it empty. Otherwise, another comma, impute the value in database C8, imputes this value there. And that's why the names come here automatically. So I've done that for each of this cell to correspondingly bring those data here and here. So you don't have to retype here again. So if you want to learn more about Excel, I'll share some of our courses with you. You can sign in and learn more about how to automate in Microsoft Excel. So this portion is where you impute the scores for Samuel, and this is first term for English score. Now, whatever name you call your term, you can always impute that here, but the subject comes here because I put a formula here, just the same way I did. Database R4, that is, whatever that is here, R4, should come up here, and I've concatenated, I've added score entry to it, just to say English score entry. So if I change this English to math, let's see what happens here. It changes to math score entry. So that's what I wanted to achieve. That's why I have put that there. Don't forget, we are making this a seamless automation. That's why I've done bulk of this work for you. Now it's time to impute the score for Samuel John. On this portion, I have 3 tests and exams that I'm testing for this sample. And each test has the maximum obtainable mark of 10, 10, 20, and 60, where all sums up. You can see sum here, sum D5 to G5 sums to 100. So whatever your own is, you can put the numbers up here. Always put the maximum obtainable mark here. Maximum obtainable mark. And always, you must always put it here. I'll tell you the reason as we go ahead. So that as you are imputing the score, you can have a score bigger than the maximum score. For instance, I have imputed 15 here, and if 15 is more than 10, that's why it's bringing up this error. You have entered a number greater than the total for this test. So I'm going to remove this. So I've automated that to always check for that error so that you don't make that mistake. So you can only have 10 or less mark here. Let's assume this child has his scores. And you can see that every other total, percentage, grade, and position calculates automatically. Immediately you start imputing scores. So this is the total. What this is doing is just summing up all of this to give us 94. And this is the percentage. And what the percentage does is the total score of the child divided by the maximum mark, which is 100. So what I have done here, I have imputed an if statement that this total, if this total portion is empty, it should return empty. Otherwise, it should do the total divided by the sum of all the maximum obtainable mark, which is 100 here. And immediately you do that, you have your answer in fraction. So you go to the Home tab and click on percentage. So that's why we have this percentage here. And for the grade, I've also put a formula to always check for if it is empty. If I don't put if it's empty, all of this place would have been, for all these empty spaces, all these ones would have written 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But I want it to be as neat as possible. So that's why I've wrapped it up with if the percentage here is empty, return empty. Otherwise, do an index match. What does index and match function? What do they do in Excel? Now let's go through this. I've said index database P4 to P15. This is database style. Let's look at P4 to P15. What do we have? This is the P column. Don't forget, I want to put the grade. So I am instructing Excel to look at this column from P4 to P15. So it should index it here such that, comma, you match it with the corresponding percentage that I have on database 04 to 015. Let's go to database 04 to 015, this portion. So what I'm saying is, whatever the value of the percentage is, return the corresponding grade. That's what all this formula is doing. Then I put a comma and 1. 1 in Excel uh, means I want an approximate value, because over here I have 0 to 49. So any number between 0 and 49 should return letter E. And basically that's what we're doing here. And because this is 94%, and 94% is between the A's, that's why we have A here. And the last part for the position, I have wrapped this with the rank function. I've also started with if the percentage is empty, return empty. Otherwise, do the ranking of this percentage 94, rank it with all other values in the percentage column, and give me the position. That's what this formula is doing. So 94% is on position 2 in this column. And that's obvious. This is 95 and this is 94. 95 is the first. So that's what this portion is doing. And here is dedicated for comment. So you might want to give that child comment for this subject, English, and say, let's say you want to say great, or whatever you want to put there for him, for English language. Now that is for imputation of scores. If you scroll down, a thorough analysis is calculating down here. You can see the test average. For the test 1, the average of the test is 9.6. That is average of all these test score is 9.6. The percentage is 96. The minimum mark is 8. Maximum is 10. The median is 10. And the standard deviation is 0.89. You can see that as simple as imputing the scores, all of this is generating automatically. So you can analyze your each test item and see which one the children are having challenge with to improve in your next test. The same thing is happening here. So what we have just done here is average. We change to percentage here. Here we use the minimum function in Excel to return the minimum value. Here we use the max function to return the maximum value. Here we use the median function to return the median. And here we use the standard deviation. And for every instance, I've wrapped it up that if the value is empty or 0, return empty, rather than putting not available. So we do that for all of this. And here we are calculating the overall class average, which has to do with the percentage, the average of the percentage. So you want to know how your class is faring as a whole in this subject, English language. So this is doing that for us here. And with the index and match, This is the grade that this class is performing at this time for this subject. So this is the minimum class mark, the maximum, the median, and the standard deviation. It is not just for computing, it's a total analysis of your score that this template is doing for you just by imputing your scores. And what I've done is I've repeated the same thing for your second term and third term. I've just, I edited them with different colors to separate them. And afterwards, this is for English. Just copied all of these and I put it down here for your next subject. And the same thing for the third subject, the fourth, the fifth, and all of that. That is what is happening here. So you can update and impute as much as possible to suit your needs. So the next step is the overall section. In this overall section, this is putting all the totals of each term for each subject. So this 95, you can see I've wrapped it up with the formula equals H7. I've asked this cell to return the value of H7. What is H7 again? H7, let me show up the heading. H7. The total for English should come here. And the same thing for the second term, the same thing for the third term. The third term is AB7. This is column AB, return this. And this is average of the three. If there's an error, I said impute nothing. And that is what we have done for each of the subjects that we have here. Creative writing, numeracy, all these subjects are coming up here automatically. You can see this is from database R4. This is R4, R5, R6. And that's why you have R4, R5, R6. So everything is automated for you. And the next section we have here is the overall analysis section. So what this portion is doing for you as you're imputing your score is summing up all the subjects for first term. It's doing, you can see sum if, all the values of your first term for all the subjects. And this one is calculating the percentage. Percentage is the value here divided by the total obtainable mark. And here, index and match to return the grade, and here, rank to return the position. So from this analysis section, you can see how the students are performing in all the subjects put together. Same thing for second term, the same thing for third term. And this portion is the cumulative average of all these three terms. So this is doing the average of all these three terms. Like you know, by third term, we will be concentrating on cumulative average. And this is what this is doing. In this next part is the comment part. This is where the teacher, the class teacher, imputes scores for each child in the class, while the head of school imputes score for the child too. Let's say the class teacher says good boy, and the teacher says great boy, or whatever. Whatever you want to come up on the results page. Now, that is for first term. This portion is for second term, and this is for third term. And we have come to the last part of this spreadsheet, which is the report section. Everything you have imputed comes up here such that you can generate instant results for each child in your class. Okay, the first thing to do here, the school name you will be here, the address, or any other thing you want to put on the report page, you impute that here. But the first thing to consider here is this name box. If you see there's an arrow, when you click the arrow, it shows all the names of the pupils you have imputed on this database page. So on this report page, you can just click the arrow and select a pupil. When you select a pupil, all the data of that child comes up automatically. You scroll down, all the things you have imputed for the child comes up automatically. So let's see for Samuel John. The picture comes up, the admission number comes up, the class, the age comes up. Because we didn't put age here, let's quickly put the age here. Whatever you put here comes up. You can see by just putting the date of birth, it tells you the age of that child at this time, 9 years and 5 months. The gender comes up here. So how does this happen? You might want to ask. We have used the VLOOKUP function to pull the data from here to this place. Let's quickly go through it. Don't forget that I'm always wrapping up with if empty, put empty. So the main work is here. Now let's explain this. VLOOKUP, how does it work? VLOOKUP is a function that takes up a lookup value. I've asked VLOOKUP to take up whatever that is here. This is CZ11, comma. The next thing to look for is the table array. I said look for it in the data section. Where's my data section? I have named this portion, I've named it data. How do you do that? Just select, click into this name box, and put whatever name you want to put it so that you can always reference that easily. So I've asked VLOOKUP, look up this value in this data range and check for column index, column 2. So in this data range, this is column 1, column 2. I've asked Excel, look up this data, look up this value here, and return whatever is on column 2, which is A11, A111. Return that, and comma, false. False means I do not need an approximate value. I need the exact value. And that's how VLOOKUP works. Like I said, if you want to learn more about this, we'll share our course with you. So if I just click enter, what happened was VLOOKUP checks for this name in this data set and returned the second column of corresponding value. And that's all. And that's the same thing I've done for class. Class is returning the third column. So that means class is on the third column. Age is returning the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, but I have wrapped that up to show the actual age, not just the date of birth. The gender is returning the value in the 5th column. That's the gender column. The club column, fourth column, the house, that's the seventh, is the ninth column, and eight. And on this part, that's where we put the term we are considering, like we have first and second term. So if first term is showing, every of this scores will show the first term score. If I change to second term, let me scroll up. If I change to second term, you can see the score that was here has gone because I have not imputed any score for this child for second term. So back to first term, you can see the scores I have imputed, the comments, so the total and every other thing populates automatically. So this is the session. You can just edit this to suit the session you are or whatever you are, whatever name you are giving it. Here is the mark obtainable. The total mark is just summing that up, and this formula is checking if this value dk6 is first term, is summing up for first term. If it is second term, it changes to second term. If it is third term, it changes to third term. And this is doing this the score, total score of that child for that term. So it's also checking for first term, second term, and the last term is automatically the third term. This is the number in class. We have used the count A function to count the number of pupils in this class and put the value here. And this is the overall percentage. And we have also used, in this place, I've used VLOOKUP. You can also use your index match to return the grade, and the position comes here automatically. So on the assessment report, every score you have imputed for the child shows up here. Let me take a sample of a student with a full score. So every of these scores you have imputed shows up here. You don't need to type anything here. The subject comments and every other analysis is done automatically. Don't forget, this is a result page that will be printed and sent to the parents or whoever. And this portion is the affective trait. So for attentiveness, you can always edit this to whatever you want. So if I want to score this child a 2, click 2 and type the letter P and type 1. Or if I want to put a tick here, okay, this is a tick, you can copy this tick and put it here if I want to do it for 2. So I'll just remove this. So that for this child, his attentiveness is 2, neatness is 3, and all of that. You can do the same thing for the psychomotor skill. The class teacher comment shows up here automatically, and the head teacher's comment shows up here automatically. And this graph of the children performance show up here automatically based on the scores that are here. You can see this graph is based on the subjects. You can see the subject is highlighted and the term percentage. So I've inserted the graph there. To insert a graph, you go to insert and you go to probably recommended chart and put a chart of your choice. I've used a clustered bar and I've done some editing to suit the color and the branding. All of that you can change to suit your need. And this portion is the attendance portion. You can always put the attendance, number of times the child is present, and this calculates automatically. So this bar shows up too, showing the attendance record. So if I change this to 120 and the number of time present is 20, that means that child is present for 17% of the time. And this graph is also depicting this. This is the grading scale you are working with. You can just share it here on the report page. And this last one is when your next term begins. You can always edit the date to your next term. So this is the result page that generates automatically for you. So what you can do here is go to print from here, from file, print. I have edited such that it will only print the report page. So if you go to print, the print is going to print this out for you. That's the report page for this particular child. For the next child, all I need to do is to select the child's name and every other thing populates automatically. Isn't this wonderful? So if anyone is still following me up until now, you can drop on the chat or the comment box or ask a question about this application up until this moment. Feel free to ask me any question. I can always explain to you. Basically, that's the working architecture of this application. Remember I said this isn't our main result generation application. But you know what? You can always edit this to suit your school and use it for free. And if you have any question about any part or any section, that's why we're here for you. We will always reach out to you and give you all the necessary support you need. So that is that about this spreadsheet. While you are typing your question, let me share our main grading application with you. With that, you can do a whole lot more. And because you're part of this webinar, you will have the opportunity to have this our main application. So type in your questions as I'm sharing the main grading application. Powerful, simple to use. It is called Simple School Grading Application. This one is fully automated and you don't need to type any other thing other than the student record and the scores. With this, we can do a whole lot more. Okay, the database section, let's click. You are going to click this tab. It takes you to the database section. This is almost like the one we just worked with, but this one is just more automated. If I click on in here, I can put names as usual and the corresponding values here. Don't forget you can edit all these headers. For this one, for the date of birth, all you just need is click inside the cell and the calendar shows up and you pick the date of birth for the child, the year, so you don't need to type in here. Just pick the year and the date. It imputes it here for you. And here you put your height, weight, or whatever you are measuring. Here is email. Now, the picture section, all you just need to do is click inside the box and your document folder comes up. And you can now select your picture. When I select my picture, it automatically reduce it to fit into the cell. So you don't need to stress yourself fitting to the cell and all of that. That's why this is automated. So this is where you have your grading scale. This is where you have your subject. You can have as many as you can. This is where you describe your affective descriptor that you want to measure. You can do up to 8. And the psychomotor skills you want to measure here. This one is taking everything, so you don't need to retype anywhere else. So this is your rating scale. You can design it to whatever you want. If my one is, I just want to put none there. If two is whatever, or if my three stands for fair, my four is good. You type that here, you edit. Test name. You can type your test name, whatever you call it, and the corresponding marks for each test item. But note, they must all sum up to 100%. And this portion is where you put your school details. So you don't need to type it anywhere else again. Here, class teacher name and the signature of the class teacher. All you just need to do here, click the signature. Instruction is here. And right click and change and pick the signature from your system. Which class are we talking about? Put your class name there. And the session you are working with, you edit it here. Let's say you're working with 2020, 2021. Just do that. And the instruction on how to work on this page is here. And if you have set up this, you are good to go. You can come back to the home tab here or go to the gradebook section by clicking this button. So while I'm still waiting your question, so this opens up almost like what we have with the template we work with. For this one, we just need to be clicking the button. If I click on this box, this yellow box here, there's an arrow here where I can select the subject I want to work with. So you don't need any copying and pasting here. Everything is already done. So all I just need is impute scores for the child as according to what I've imputed on the database, and every other thing comes up. When I'm done with English language first term, go to the next subject, say mathematics. When you click, mathematics comes up. Do the same for math. So whatever subject, you click and it keeps on changing. Then when you are done imputing all discussed for the subjects, then there's this portion, affective and psychomotor traits. If I click that, it takes you to the affective and psychomotor page where you can impute values as you have highlighted on the database. All this will come up here automatically. All you just need to do is put the value in the box according to your measurement for the child. This is for first term. You can scroll if you are working with second term. You scroll to second term. This is second term, and this is third term. When you are done with that, if you want to impute your attendance record, click on attendance. This is where you impute the attendance record. You can always do this daily. First thing here is set the date where your term is opening and the closing date for the term. Now let's say if my term is opening to December 1st, it changes to 1st, and this number I mean, this date changed to 1st of December. So you keep on imputing P for present, A for absent, L for late, and H for holiday if that day there's no school on that day. And you just do that. All of this we calculate automatically on the results page. And that's that about attendance. This is the comment section. Everything can be picked from this one box. This is where you input the comment for first term, second term, and third term, depending on the term you're working with. Let me go back to the grade book. All right, this is the comment section for this is for class teacher, this is for head teacher. And if you want to see the overall section, you click the overall section in the yellow box and you see that and the analysis. Here you don't need to type anything. Just see how the children are faring in all the subjects. And this is the results page. This is the results page. Everything populates automatically. The affective trait you chose will come up here. So you are not just typing anything here. Everything is done automatically. Your comments, your attendance is calculated for you. You don't need to type in anything other than you want to change the date of your resumption. When you click the box, the calendar comes up and just pick the date. And this is awesome. To check for the next child, you just click. Check for the term like we did, you just select the term. And this does not stop there. You scroll to the right, you can send this automatically to the parent's email. Excuse me. Here, if I click on this button, it prints this results page for me. This print current students. This button prints all the students in the class at once. If I click it, it will generate the PDF version of all the results of all the children in the class. If I click here, I can send the result via Outlook. This one you want to send via Gmail, you want to send via Yahoo. And before you do for Gmail and Yahoo, you need to specify the sender's email here and the password that you'll be sending from. These are the messages that will come up as the subject body of your mail. You can always edit this or note the variable where you have hash student name. You don't need to edit that. The student name will automatically be there. If the name is Samuel, Samuel will show here. So it will be, dear Samuel's parent, find attached Samuel's assessment report for the term you are working with. We show them. The session you are working with will show them. And the conclusion part, you will hear, you'll see, please let me know if there's any question. Best regard. The head teacher's name will show automatically. The school name will show automatically by just clicking these buttons. So this is how our main grading app works. That's how it works. And it makes everything seamless. So if you have any question now, okay, I think I have this. Faith saying, thanks, the grading system is really nice and makes the teacher's job a lot easier. Thank you very much. And we also have this comment. This template is nice, but the app is great. Oh, thank you very much. So whichever one you want to work with, you are good to go. So because you have stayed till this time, we will be offering you the app If you're interested in the app, you can take it today at 75% off. 75% off. The app price is Nigerian currency 20,000 naira. So if you're taking it in the next 48 hours, just give it for 5,000 naira and you will see the awesomeness of this application. Otherwise, you can go ahead and edit the template because they both do almost the same thing. So for the next 48 hours, you can just contact us and we'll give it to you at 75% off. So after 48 hours, it goes back to the normal price. And apart from that, make do with the free template. Ask us any question. We can always help and make it a worthwhile template for you to use for your school and share with other educators and anybody that is interested. Okay, this is about that. So we also have for preschool app, that one works with preschoolers. You can check our site to go through it and see how that works. We have two versions of the preschool app, depending on the one that works for you, and their own grading app suits their learning level, where we concentrate on what the children can do, not just the grades they have in subjects. All of these are going for 75% off the next 48 hours. Otherwise, use the template that we have shared with you. And if you have any question, we'll be so glad to have it and to answer you at any time. If there are any question, you can use the tab. We have come to the end of this presentation. So thank you for your participation. Like we said, if you are interested in all this application, I'm going to put the link in the chat room so that you can always click on and take advantage. So here you have it. You can always click on that and take advantage, and the free template is there for you to work with. And here comes the end of this wonderful time. Thank you for staying put up until now. I'm very glad you're with us. Please share this with everybody you know that might be interested. The replay will still be on our page. You can go through it again. We share all those links on the comment section so that you can have full advantage of it and you'll be glad you did. So watch out our space for our next webinar where we'll be showcasing something worthwhile and important for every one of us. Thank you for being a part of this training. Have a wonderful time. Bye. Hi there. Grading student scores and generating results for each one of them is one of the core functions of a teacher. Research has shown that due to pressure on teachers to deliver pupils' results in a time frame, errors occur at about 45% of time. In order to solve this problem and